What if I told you your mind is more powerful than any vision board? That you don't need affirmations, crystals, or to raise your vibration? You just need this one principle. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. The ancient Stoics didn't talk about manifesting, but they lived it, without ever using the word. Let me show you what I mean. A few years ago, I tried every manifestation trick in the book. I wrote down goals. I made a Pinterest board. I even stared at myself in the mirror and repeated, I am successful, I am wealthy, I am calm. But when the day ended, nothing changed. I'd still scroll Instagram and feel behind, still panic, check my bank account, still feel like everyone else had a map and I was walking in circles. And that's when I realized something. Maybe it's not about what you picture. It's how you think about it. See, we're told visualization is about imagining the end result. Picture the car, picture the house, picture the dream life. But here's the catch. Most people are visualizing as escape, not creation. They're not building belief, they're numbing doubt. It becomes a mental Netflix. Feel broke? Visualize a mansion. Feel lonely? Visualize a soulmate. Feel lost? Visualize a life where you've already made it. But none of that does anything because it keeps the real power outside of you. Here's where Marcus Aurelius flips the script. He wasn't concerned with wish lists. He focused on what kind of person you become based on what you let your mind dwell on. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. That's not just poetic. That's the real secret to manifestation, Stoic style. And it starts with what you allow your thoughts to rehearse. Let's break that down. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Think of your mind like a canvas. Every thought is a stroke of color. You wake up and think, this day is going to be a mess. That's a dark gray stroke. You look in the mirror and think, I never follow through. Another one, deep blue. You scroll and think, I'll never catch up. Black, navy, slate. By noon, your canvas is already heavy. And it's not from what happened, it's from what you rehearsed thinking. Now flip it. Imagine you start thinking, I can handle this. I've done hard things before. I'm not behind. I'm just early in my story. Now your canvas shifts. Gold, soft green, light blue. This is visualization that actually transforms you. Not because you're imagining things, but because you're becoming someone who can create them. Let me give you a real example. A friend of mine was stuck in a job she hated. She wanted to be a designer. She used to spend nights fantasizing about someday. Someday she'd quit. Someday she'd have clients. Someday she'd wake up excited. But all that thinking made her more restless, not more prepared. So she tried something different. Instead of visualizing the result, she started visualizing the process. Waking up at 6 a.m. to design before work, sending awkward cold emails, getting ignored, getting better, failing, improving, and then getting one client, then two, then momentum. That shift, visualizing the mindset, not the moment, was everything. Within 10 months, she quit her job. Why? Because she didn't just see success. She rehearsed becoming the kind of person who could handle the road to it. That's the point Marcus was making. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If your vision doesn't make you stronger in this moment, it's probably just a fantasy. But if it trains your mind to endure, focus, and act, then it's not just a picture, it's preparation. You don't manifest what you daydream about. You manifest what you're mentally training for. Let's go deeper. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A man's life is what his thoughts make it." Simple, almost too simple, but sit with that for a second. Your life, not your job, your bank account, or your reputation. Your life is what you think about all day. Not what happens to you, not what you hope for, what you think. So here's the question. What have your thoughts been making lately? Because if your internal world is full of doubt, comparison, stress, that's not just emotional background noise, that is your life. Here's a real story. I knew a guy who always wanted to run his own business. Every year he'd start with vision boards, big ideas, bigger goals, but every time I talked to him, his mind was full of panic. What if I fail? What if no one buys? What if I'm not ready? He thought he was visualizing success, but he was training his brain to expect disaster. Every day, his thoughts made his life feel smaller, and sure enough, he never launched. Now, here's where this gets uncomfortable. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you sink to the level of your thoughts. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Visualization isn't about seeing more, it's about thinking better. Not bigger goals, cleaner thinking. Let me ask you this. When you picture your future, are you focused on the work you'll do or the applause you'll get? Are you thinking about how you'll handle challenges or how nice it'll feel when you don't have any? That shift tells you everything. Because here's the thing no one tells you. Your thoughts aren't neutral. They're either preparing you or weakening you. Let's keep going. This quote hit me in the gut. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. And yeah, at first that sounds like some ancient motivational poster, but read it again. What Marcus is saying is this: the real danger isn't failure. It's waiting your whole life to feel ready, to feel sure, to feel clear. You might be wondering, what does that have to do with visualization? Everything. Most people use visualization as a way to delay action. They convince themselves they're manifesting, but really, they're just avoiding discomfort. They wait until the picture is perfect in their heads before they take a single step in the real world. Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's it right there. Don't spend years picturing yourself as disciplined, calm, confident. Act like it, move like it, live like it. Because clarity doesn't come from the perfect mental picture. It comes from momentum. Here's an example. A woman I worked with wanted to start a podcast. For a year, she visualized everything, the logo, the launch day, even what she'd wear on the first episode. But she never pressed record. So we did something different. Instead of visualizing the success, she started visualizing day one. The awkward pauses, the bad audio, the feeling of who am I to do this? She pictured it, accepted it, chose it, and then she hit record. The episode wasn't perfect, but it was real. And that made her real to herself. That's the shift. Visualize the messy version, not the fantasy. That's how you actually start. Let me pause here and ask you something directly. What are you still visualizing that you know? Deep down, you could have started by now. What fear are you dressing up as planning? What dream are you making prettier instead of realer? If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus wasn't interested in feel-good stories. He was obsessed with action. He believed that clarity comes from doing what's right, not what's comfortable. So here's the punchline for this section. Stop picturing the life. Start living the behavior. Because the universe doesn't give you what you dream about. It gives you what you're willing to become. Let me show you what happens when you ignore this. A few years ago, I met someone who had every manifestation book, sticky notes on the mirror, vision board on the wall, playlists, rituals, mantras, you name it. She was kind, smart, creative. But 5 years went by and nothing changed. Still at the same job, still talking about someday, still using dreams to distract from doing. And the saddest part? She started to doubt herself, not the method. She thought, maybe I'm just not meant for more. Maybe I'm not spiritual enough. Maybe the universe is ignoring me. But the truth, she was ignoring herself. Because if you only ever visualize the end and never rehearse the effort, you start to believe you're broken instead of just untrained. Marcus Aurelius warned us about this kind of drift. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And that hits. Not because it's harsh, but because it's true. You could spend your whole life imagining a better one and never actually live it. So let's bring this home. Here's what we've learned from Marcus Aurelius. 1. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. You manifest what your mind rehearses, not what it dreams about. 2. A man's life is what his thoughts make it. Your life isn't shaped by results. It's shaped by repeated thoughts. 3. Don't argue what a good man should be. Be one. Don't just picture the dream. Embody the process. Right now, imperfectly. So here's one simple thing you can do today. Visualize yourself doing the hard part. Not the reward, not the applause, not the outcome. Picture yourself waking up early, being scared and doing it anyway, getting it wrong, learning, showing up again. That's how you start to build the kind of life you don't need to escape from. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now let me leave you with a question. What thought have you been repeating lately that you know is shaping your future the wrong way? Drop it in the comments. Be honest. You're not alone in it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and hit like so this video reaches more people. But mostly, start today. Not by imagining a perfect life, but by living a better thought. You're not behind. You're just beginning.